Hi, I'm Craig, film enjoyer living in England, and if absence of milk in the mouths were lost, director Case Esparros does end up listening to this episode. I picked this film, so my review will come last after three other reviews. So please, just push through the other three reviews, and the positive stuff will come. It's coming up. I promise. And I would like you to push through if you can. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week I will be at one of the other three reviews for The Absence of Milk in the Mouths of the Lost. That's all I'm saying right now. That's it.
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned it's really easy to impress Craig, and I've exploited that for many years now. Thank you, Craig. Love you, Bill.
No worries.
I'm Tyler Hosley, and I can't drink milk because I'm lactose intolerant, but I do like a nice tall glass of titty milk with my cookies, and this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay!
You say these things, and then we do the little yay afterwards. So whatever you say, we're like, yay! Tyler's drinking titty milk this week. Yay!
Everyone loves breast milk.
I mean, he does use it to his advantage at least once a month.
All milk is breast milk, technically.
It is.
Yep. And
It's
let's
true.
be fair, the word teat is fun to say.
So, not much.
I'm going to call you Teat for this episode, Teat.
Teat. You can call me Teat. I'm down. Yeah, I didn't watch much this week, but I did go to the theater and I saw the Thunderbolts, and I did not care for it at all. It's just more mediocrity from the MCU. I mean, for all the feely feels they try to throw at you, I felt nothing. It's boring, bad CGI, lame action. The climax is fucking terrible. In the climax, there's concrete pieces of buildings falling and a group trying to save the pedestrians from falling debris. Like, really? I mean, I know it's a fucking superhero movie, but fuck. If this is the direction they're taking the new Avengers, I think I'm gonna just bow out. I just had to go home and watch Deadpool and Wolverine after to remind myself Marvel still does make good stuff every once in a while. Thunderbolts sucked. I mean, it's not quite as bad as the Captain America one that just came out, Brave New World, but it's close. I don't rate, but if I were to rate it, maybe 2 or 3 out of 10. It's boring. I was not a fan, and that's me.
I had a pretty short week this week. Besides the movies, for the podcast, I've mostly just been playing Monospaced Lovers, which is a hardcore platformer puzzle bullet hell visual novel video game, and it's pretty great.
Tyler, don't get excited by the words hardcore platformer. It's not what you think.
Not what you think. I do enjoy hardcore platformers, even though sometimes like my brain gets stuck in a rut and I'll just do the same thing for like an hour and just get really angry at myself for being that dumb, and then do it in 2 seconds like it was nothing when I'm alone, despite embarrassing myself for an hour or more. Besides that, I saw one of my all-time favorite movies in the theater, but I'm not going to talk about that now because I have a reason. I have a reason to not talk about it right now. But after watching Craig's pick, I decided to watch one of my favorite interesting art films, F is for Fake, which is Orson Welles' final film, and it's a fake documentary about fakes and fakers, and it's wonderful and fantastic, and I'm a fan. Oh, please don't jump in there, Kevin.
Sorry.
I had it. It was short this week. I only had the 2, and I can't talk about one because we'll be talking about it soon.
Okay. I had a decent week. A mixed bag in terms of quality, though. I finally watched or rewatched RoboCop 3. I'm always unsure of how to class those viewings because I'm pretty sure I saw all 3 years ago, but I can't remember anything about them. Although I remembered RoboCop 3 more than RoboCop 2 because I remembered really disliking it. This time around, I didn't really dislike it, and you know, I thought it was alright. It doesn't have the sharp humor that even the second film had, and it is more interested in the kind of connection between RoboCop and humans and the humanity. So it's just using the wild sort of dystopian future as a backdrop. Kept slightly out of focus so I don't have to spend too much money on it. But I didn't mind it. Robert John Burke? He's not bad with the physicality of the RoboCop character. Taking over from Weller, some big metal shoes to fill. I think he's okay. And it was weird seeing so many familiar faces in the cast. CCH Pounder, Bradley Whitford is fun as an executive douchebag. Stephen Root's in there, Daniel Von Bargen, Rip Torn. I like the effects for what is basically known as Robo Ninja in this. I thought there were actually some good effects. There are also some not so good effects, but I think overall it was all right, and it feels a lot worse if you try and stack it up alongside the first film. So yeah. Another film that doesn't really stack up alongside the first, but is kind of relatively worse in a way. I watched Another Simple Favor, which I'm sure none of you rushed to watch.
Mm-mm.
No.
I haven't seen the first one either.
I mean, I rushed to tell you it existed, but that was it.
I liked A Simple Favor, and this obviously just throws those characters back together. It's quite bad. I like Kendrick. I like Lively in this role. She's pretty fun in this role, although they just have her repeatedly overusing a choice swear word as part of her character. Like this is Alison Janney. Is it Janney or Janie? It's Janney, isn't it? Alison Janney.
It's Janie, isn't it? It's
Is it
Janie.
Janie?
I'm pretty sure it's Janie, yeah, but I could be wrong. I don't speak English, so yes.
Like she's someone I really appreciate so much, and I don't think I've ever heard too many people say her surname at a time when I would file that away. Elizabeth Perkins is there in a small role, and Henry Golding is quite fun in this for his couple of scenes, but it's a mess and it's all inconsequential. There's no tension when it's maybe supposed to be slightly tense. The comedy rarely works as well as it could or should. It gets by on the likability of the central pairing of Kendrick and Lively. That's how it gets by. The rest is just pretty bad. I finally watched The Night Comes for Us. That had eluded me for some time. Just because it's one of those that whenever I saw it, in my selection of potential viewings, I was like, have I seen that one already? I can't remember. I'll get back to it. And I never did. Yeah, it's really good, as I'm pretty sure you all know. It's savage with the fights and all the blade attacks. It's that kind of there's that much blade attack action that it makes me even more squeamish while I'm watching the fights, because it's just, yeah, it's really, really brutal, and it's people trying to tear chunks out of one another or just get one death blow that'll leave someone else bleeding out or incapacitated for life. Great stuff there, really good. I watched the anthology movie Freaky Tales, which I really liked. I think I've heard some mixed reviews on that, and a few people, I'm pretty sure, were underwhelmed by it. Who, people I know, and I might sort of check out films if they love stuff. So I don't know why. I just decided to. I was like, what the hell? We'll give it a go. And I really like this, and I think there's enough here that Tyler will really like. There's a good sort of 80s punk / neon aesthetic for a few segments. There are some really fun performances from the main cast members, and yeah, I had a blast with it. And it's a film that makes time to specifically underline the joy of punks banding together to punch Nazis. Like that's a huge easy bonus for me at the moment. It was really good. Have any of you seen this yet, Craig? I didn't know if you'd seen Freaky Tales yet.
Not yet, no.
No, it's in the pile though.
I added it to my watch list right after you messaged me, so I'm definitely gonna watch that soon.
I would be very surprised if it didn't at least tick some of your boxes, T. Because I'm watching, I'm thinking, yeah, this is although it is more, it's mid to late 80s rather than full on 90s. Well, yeah, there's an aesthetic here that Tyler will appreciate.
Nice.
And then finally, it just dropped on Shudder today or yesterday, is The Ugly Stepsister. And that's really good.
Yeah, I was hoping to fit that in before we recorded, but I didn't have time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to. You'll know, what it's loosely based on, considering the title and the poster design you might have seen. But I tried to read a little bit of Christian's blog about it without getting too many of the details that might, prove a pleasant surprise while I was viewing it. And Christian had sort of warned against some of the moments that she found difficult and may have made her feel a bit squeamish. I'm like, Christian saying that? I was like, how bad is this? There are some real wince-inducing moments here, but it's a really interesting, dark and twisted, really, really, really dark, comedically at moments, but generally an overwhelming building sense of the horror of the situation, really. And I recommend Christian's full review and write up on that, and she goes into a lot that she read into the material, and it is quite clearly there as you're watching it. So I don't know whether I will go back and fully reread her write-up before I'm doing my own write-up, because I don't want that to unduly influence me. But I highly recommend her take on it. And I highly recommend the film.
Before you move on, just a reminder for those that don't know, Christian's blog is krelllabs.blogspot.com. Oh.
Thank you. I was I guested again on a podcast the other week that will be out soon, and I mean, I can't even remember my full blog title. I'm like, oh, it's for his man's number it might be at Blogger or it's Blogspot or it's something. So like, oh, well done on your self-marketing. I'm like, yep, that's our level.
Kevin's
And that
blog
was me.
is foritsmansnumber.blogspot.com.
Is it?
It is.
Like Craig, it's on it's it's at Shudder for all of us, I believe, and if you have time for it, I think you'll really dig The Ugly Stepsister, and I think we'll all dig it, really.
I'm probably gonna watch it.
I
as
have the
soon as we're
worst
done
luck
here.
with Shudder because I was waiting for Dead Mail and then my Shudder ran out the day it came out. I was like, you fucker. So I went and got a free trial with sneakiness and then I watched it and then my free trial was run out today just before Ugly Stepsister. So I'm gonna have to go and find I have to get another free trial somewhere or pay for Shudder. But I resent paying for it because I keep paying for it when there's fuck all on there and then it runs out as soon as I want to watch. It's very annoying, but that's just Shudder's vibe. Very annoying.
That's why I get AMC Plus because it's cheap
Yeah.
at the end of every year, and there's like 8 services. I can always watch something.
Okay. Well, like I said, I watched Dead Mail because I'd been really looking forward to that. I watched that on Shudder. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like a lot. Not quite as much as I had hoped. Dave, you were absolutely right when you stated the first act is the strongest by far, and the film really struggles to like maintain momentum. I think for the remaining runtime, it struggles a little, which is a shame. But it's not a deal breaker or anything. I mean, it's a great looking fucking movie. Like one of the most authentic looking kind of faux exploitation movies I've seen. It's not going overboard with the silly digital effects. It just looks very authentic. Score's great. Lots of like strange, discordant, weird electronica that I really liked. Mostly, I liked it for the performances, which I just thought were really strong across the board. Like everyone was good, but especially John Trent, who played the antagonist, who he's very much in that kind of oddly sympathetic, kind of pitiful monster mold of like your Norman Bates types characters. He is an evil. He's a terrible piece of shit, but he's quite pitiful, and I don't know. I just found him very interesting. And there's this kind of pervasive sense of sadness, which it really kept me locked in when the pace sagged here and there. I'm definitely interested to see what else the filmmakers have done before. I know they've got at least one feature previous to this, and I'm just looking forward to whatever they do next because I think there's a ton of potential there. And I'm down for whatever they got coming next. I watched the 2005 Japanese fantasy horror anthology Rampo Noir, and I really dug that as well. It's very Japanese. I'd heard people like refer to it as erotica in some corners, and I'm just going to be staying well away from those corners. I don't want to go there. I don't know who find anything erotic in these movies. It's a pretty deranged film. It's full of like killer mirrors, human caterpillars. My personal favourite segment. The word segment made me feel queasy. Then that's the sort of effect this film has on you. My personal favourite was kind of about the kind of uneasy intersection where like germophobia meets necrophilia, and all the laughs that that come with that. It's great. It's really well shot, really well acted, and it's thematically really interesting. It's all about the perils of obsession and the people digging their own graves with their own obsession, and it's just an interesting, well-made movie, but not remotely fucking erotic unless you are A, Japanese, or B, possibly Tyler. I don't know. I never do know with that boy. And then last one, the Taiwanese crime drama The Pig, the Snake, and the Pigeon. in which a terminally ill hitman discovers he's only the third most wanted criminal in Taiwan, and he vows to take the number one spot before he dies. And that was pretty great. I didn't dislike the first half. It was really solid, but a bit typical in terms of like Eastern crime dramas. Like just lots of mean, crunchy fights, snarling, tatted up crime bosses. Like it's enjoyable, but you've seen it dozens of times before. So I wasn't 100% sold on the first half, but then the second half, it changes gear in a enjoyable way, and it digs into some really fucking dark comedy, and then gets into like more soulful territory before it concludes on a legitimately stark fucking note that I did not see coming. It was a really like downer ending, which is a real downer ending, which I wasn't expecting. Like it's really good stuff, really good performances, especially the lead actor Ethan Wan. His character goes through the ringer, and he absolutely nails the performance. I really recommend that. I think it's a Netflix exclusive, at least in my neck of the woods. But it's it's just a really solid crime drama, which I highly recommend. And that's me.
I'm trying to remember if we've done any of the movies or anything based on Edogawa Ranpo's stuff. I mean, we did Horrors of Malformed Men.
We did.
That's like a mixture of a bunch of his different plot elements from his stories. I'm trying to remember if we did any of the Akechi Goro stuff. And I am brain farting on it right now.
Have you seen Rampo Noir?
We didn't cover it on. I mean, I've seen it, but we didn't cover it on the podcast. I'm trying to remember if we did. Did we do Black Lizard?
I think you did Black Lizard. I don't think I was on the episode, but I'm pretty sure you did Black Lizard.
I know I've mentioned it because I'm a big fan of it. I just don't remember if we actually covered it. We probably did. Yeah, we did. I remember it. Yeah.
Is it another Japanese film that's labelled as erotica, but just shrink your penis down to a little nubbin?
So we've done two. All right. Because I've been trying to think of any of the others, and I don't think we did. And there's a few dozen Rampo adaptions. At least there's at least like 30 of them. Anyway, that's something to think about later. Anyway, this week I digress. I went on a tangent.
Indeed.
This week we watched the 2023 art film The Absence of Milk in the Mouths of the Lost, and the 2008 American sports dramedy The Longshots. Hey, Kevin?
Yes.
Would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
I sure will. I'll go for the long shots, and the reason why is because the order will then end with Tyler. He can go with The Absence of Milk in the Mouths of Lost, and then I can go after Tyler then, and we can break up the potential for a stream of insults. You see?
Yay!
Thinking ahead. So The Long Shots was picked by Tyler because it's directed by Fred Durst. That is the only reason. He might also like the movie, but he picked it because it was directed by Fred Durst. Don't argue against it, Tyler. We know this is why. This film becomes some kind of Limp Bizkit canon, and we can't fight it. Written by Nick Santora. It's based on a true story, I believe, about a young girl who became the first female to play in some football tournament. And when I say football tournament, I mean American football. They're very dismissive in this film, like football. No, the proper one you throw around. It's not the word is football. It's not throw the pointy ball. game, is it? You heathens. Anyway, sorry.
For the record,
I-
yes, Jasmine Plummer she's still alive, a real person, and she was the first ever female quarterback for a Pop Warner football team at the age of 11.
I mean, we all watched this film. I don't get the Pop Warner thing. Like when they first said it, I thought that was, just a syndicated league, or they had their own brand of like Funko Pops.
Pop Warner is
They were
a nonprofit organization. They run a bunch of actual sports. I think their American football is their biggest one, and I think it's ages 5 to 16. They've been around.
See, I was expecting Pop Warner to appear at the end. Some guy called Pop Warner who looked like the Monopoly man.
Yeah.
There was a Pop Warner. His real name was Glenn Scooby Warner. But Pop Warner's been around for about 96, 97 years. They've been around for a long time. They're the largest youth football organization in the U.S.
Yeah, I played Pop Warner in like 2000, 2001.
Yep. I did in much before 2001.
Wow. Well, you guys have the benefit of that that knowledge, but it's not exactly a complicated tale. So Keke Palmer plays Jasmine, and she ends up being coached because she's spending time in the company of her uncle Curtis, played by Ice Cube, and he's the one that sees the talent in her and pushes her to get on the team and have a go at this team that have otherwise been a bit useless. And it is a way for Jasmine to kind of find something she enjoys while also getting a little bit of sweet revenge against those that would dismiss her or just insult her. This is really standard stuff. It's a sporting. I'm going to say it's a sporting comedy drama, and it is an underdog story, but it's like it doesn't mix things up well enough for me. I think it takes a little bit too long to get going, and I don't think the mix is quite right with the comedy and the drama, but that's obviously a deliberate choice in that they want to tell a story and make it entertaining. They don't want to, throw in extra jokes and make everything too far leading into the comedy. I get that. It's just, for me, I view this kind of film and the way it seemed to be going as something that I was going to enjoy more on that really basic level. And the fact that it didn't, because of the it is a bit sort of, I would say, a little bit unevenly paced. Like things play out at the start, and then it just feels like everything happens quite quickly in the third act. Yeah, I don't know. There were so many ways this could have been improved, and it helps that I think Ice Cube's good in his role, and Palmer's like already wonderful here. So that's a big part of what makes this enjoyable and entertaining enough. But it shows that it's just obvious that it's directed by someone who doesn't necessarily have I don't know what it would be. I don't know whether it's like the focus or just the natural ability to handle this and shape it into the best it can be, in terms of like a kind of crowd pleaser, because that's what it is at the heart of it. But it's I'll meet it halfway because I think it let me down with things it didn't do, but then also that's just partly me wanting it to be a film which at times it doesn't want to be, but frustratingly at other times it does. I could have done without the stuff with the dad, you know, in the second half, which like not for any like major heavy emotional reasons or anything. I just think he didn't, as a character, deserve any of that screen time. I would have been happy if they just shat all over him and dismissed him without him being on the screen. But again, that's maybe a sign that they did well enough that I just didn't care for him for any time he was on screen. But it's cute. Palmer's great. Palmer and Cube together do well, and yeah, it's all right. I just think if you're after this kind of film, there's probably at least 12 to 20 options I could give you ahead of this one that would either give you more smiles or more of the warm fuzzies.
Should I go? All right, you go. You go.
No, let me go because I'm I'm gonna combo break the niceness now, so you guys can be more pleasant after me. I don't care for this movie. I'm going to agree with a couple things. I agree. Palmer is really good, and she is the only reason any of this movie works at all. Ice Cube is, well, he's there, but unable to really play the role in any way, except as just Ice Cube playing an Ice Cube role, which is I guess that's fine until you want him to do dramatic heavy moments, because then he's just kind of he was really good in his first film. Maybe he needs a director who can bring that out of him, but he plays this just kind of, he's bland, he's flat, he's kind of not much. The supporting cast is, they're fine. None of them are really used much. Like there's a few African American comedians who are background characters, Enos and Carl, and they're barely used. Grant Morris is a hilarious comic actor. He's the Reverend. He's hardly in it. The guy who plays the dad, whose name I am 100% blanking on, and he is not one of the people listed on the IMDb, or not IMDb, but the Wikipedia article I'm looking at. He's really good. He is a very reliable actor when he pops. Oh, Malcolm Goodwin. I knew I'd remember it. If you need something to remember him from, he is in the first season. He's Oscar Finley in the first season of Reacher. He's the sidekick in the iZombie TV series. He is a strong actor who can do pretty much anything you ask him to, and they waste him. Matt Craven is a solid character actor who was in a couple films we've covered over the years. He was in Crimson Tide, which we just watched a few weeks ago. As the first coach, totally underused. Tasha Smith plays the mom. Tasha Smith is absolutely fantastic, and has been in a few football movies over the years. Totally wasted. It's just it doesn't know what to do with its cast, and it has a strong cast there, but instead it's basically a two-hander, and one is doing the heavy lifting, and that one is like maybe 16 years old, and the other one is Ice Cube. And another problem is they don't care about the real Jasmine Plummer's story. Now, Plummer has an interesting story, and it's a unique story, and no one else has this story. But instead of embracing that and turning that into the film, they take the name of Jasmine Plummer, and they take the name of her team, the Harvey Cults, and they put it in a completely fictional and very tediously generic film. It does nothing that hasn't been done in 8 billion other sports movies about young football players. It doesn't do anything that hasn't been done in a billion other coming of age. Like, everything about this reeks of generic and lazy. and I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna blame Fred Durst for this. Fred Durst does, I think, director-wise, he does as good a job as most could. It's not great. It's not terrible. Sure, part of me thinks they probably should have hired an African-American director who might have, found something more in the work than Durst does. But that's not like a dig on Durst. He just showed up to do the job he was hired to do, and it's fine. I think the real failure is on the writers, who are Nick Santora, probably best known for writing and producing a bunch of TV stuff. He was a producer on The Sopranos. He was a writer on The Guardian. I think he was a writer on Prison Break and Lie to Me. And he was a producer on that old Beauty and the Geek reality show. You remember that shit?
I do.
Yeah, I knew you would. I think he's also a writer on The Punisher Warzone. So, he does not have a high level. And the other one was Doug Atchison, who has written some better stuff. He wrote Aquila and the Bee. Speaking of young Kiki Palmer performances. Yeah, I totally brain farted for a second there. I mean, he also wrote The Pornographer and Brian Banks, which is another football movie. It's a screenplay failure, because they instead of finding something in the story and telling a good tale, they just go for the most lazy, generic thing possible, and that's the problem. Like, I don't get why they did it. Instead of having a strong story with the interesting characters at the heart of it, we just have generic bullshit. Like, why did they change the uncle's name? The real uncle's name was Fred Johnson. He was already a fucking coach. Why do the drama? That is nothing. It's meaningless drama. There's no... Because Ice Cube's not playing a character. He's playing like a jumble of throwaway winks and nods. He doesn't have an arc. He's just one way at the beginning, and then he's a coach at the end, because he needs to be a coach at the end, because the real guy was a coach. And that's it. There's no arc. There's no struggle to get there. We don't know what his life was. We're told one thing offhand, and that's it. It's just very lazy. It's very half-assed. It's all on the screenplay. It's a terrible script, and it's a shame, because I think they could have made something really good with this. This story, this cast could have turned in a great American sports film, and they didn't. Instead, they dropped the ball, and we've got... It's okay. It's cute enough, but like, that's it. It's not a Kevin 7. It's a Dave 4.5.
Kevin 5, Kevin 6, maybe. No, Kevin 5.
Yeah, I know, but if Kevin 7's the pinnacle of all existence,
The lowest score you can get, a Kevin 5.
Kevin 7.5, the worst score in history.
I don't even write a Kevin 5. I just put the V in bold in my name, and they know.
That you?
That's me.
That's you. We've spent so long, so many years in like Tyler Hosley upside down opposite day land. Like, you say to me, we're watching a family film this week, and my first thought is, okay, how much incest? Like, we've done Visitor Q, we've done a Serbian film. What awful incest film are you making as well?
To be fair, that's pretty spot on.
So no, it's an honest to goodness PG-13 fun for all ages family film from Tyler. It's crazy shit, and yeah, it's cute. It is a cute film. Like, the true story behind it is, it's inspiring, and I think this has a really solid cast. They muck in, they make it work, but that's not why we're here, is it, Tyler? As Kevin said, we know what time it is. We know what's going on here. We're here because the Longshots is, the sophomore directorial feature of Fred Durst, and I'd say his contribution is probably the least of it. And it's not to say that I think he does a bad job, because I don't think he does a bad job. But in terms of like direction, this movie is essentially a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark film. And even that's not meant to be as much of an insult as it might seem, because, you know, say Lifetime. Lifetime is a fucking machine. They don't employ incompetent fuckwits. They have a whole stable of like safe hands who will put out their product with like the minimum of directorial identity, but therefore, you know, the minimum of fuss. You know, they have directors who know what they're doing, and I feel. I feel that's what it's like Dave said. I feel that's what Durst did here. He came in, had a job to do, got it done. But it's, I feel like I'm being mean, but usually if a film's direction is unremarkable, then I won't remark on it. But I kind of have to mention Fred's direction because it's 99% of the reason we're here. So I liked Fred's weird John Travolta stalker flick and his, you know, his directorial fingerprints are more on that. So I don't think he's a bad director. It's just, you know, this is workman-like stuff. Script is fine. It's kind of like it's like an active cliche volcano, just occasionally like spewing masses of cliches everywhere. It's just rammed with cliches. But there's stuff I liked. I like the smaller moments between the characters. They have a lot of heart. I like the way the story is up as it goes. Like it starts off as a story of an individual, then it becomes the story of a team, and then it becomes a story of a community. And I like the way the script opens up like that. But I do think it's the cast that makes it work. I think the only reason it's really, you know, watchable is the cast. You've got a lot of veterans, a lot of good solid veterans on the cast. You got Ice Cube, obviously. You got Tasha Smith. Got Dash Mihawk. You got Matt Craven. Matt Craven's middle name should just be dependable. He is 100% dependable, and I think they're all like really rock solid support for the star of the show, which is KK Palmer. How do we know? Kiki KK. Kiki Palmer, who's like even in this when she's like, you know, she's 15, 16 in this. She has like gravitas and screen presence, like so like light years beyond her years. It's kind of crazy. She's one of the most natural talents to emerge in the last couple of decades of cinema. She's fantastic, and she's as she's beyond as good. You know, I want to say she's as good as the script will allow her to be, but no, she's much better than the script allows her to be because she's Kiki Palmer and she's great. I don't know. I thought this was solid. It's solid enough. You know, it's sincere and it's completely unpretentious. It's just devoid of any trace of originality. But I don't know. That's no biggie really, because sometimes you just if you want a movie to just be a safe pair of hands, this is it. That's exactly what this is. It's a safe pair of hands of solid entertainment. You know, it's this. You won't regret watching it, but you probably won't watch it again unless you are completely obsessed with Fred Durst.
I don't want to upset Tyler, but I don't know how true this is, a quote from Kiki Palmer saying that when Durst came on to direct, he decided to get someone else in the role, and then they realised that wasn't working and eventually got Palmer hired back.
Oh.
So, I mean, if that's true, that I'm sorry, T, but that
Explains
doesn't
the rest of his movies.
doesn't say a lot about Fred Durst's eye for sheer talent in that regard.
I mean, it's not mentioned in any of the special features on the DVD, but it could be true. I'm not entirely sure. But it's never mentioned with the interviews and stuff. So,
No,
was there anything about it on in his garbage or on his hard drives or?
I'll get back to you. I'll let you know.
Oh, all right.
That was Kiki Palmer being interviewed for some other podcast last year. It said that, but again, it might just be something that she'd been told at the time, and there might have been other things going on behind the scenes.
I really enjoy this one. I always have. I actually went to the theater opening day, first showing back when this came out in 2008. So I skipped school for Freddie Day, and that's passion, baby. But it's funny. My girlfriend at the time, when it ended in the theater back in 2008, she looked at me and asked, "Why did we need to go see this opening day at 10 a.m. in the morning again?" So, so I replied, "Because it's directed by Fred Durst, you dumb broad, and I love Limp Bizkit more than you." I didn't actually say that, although I did end up very.
He
I did
Did you
thought
end
it
say
up.
to that
very
while the pair of you
loudly.
like put away
Very
bags
loud.
from sleeping outside the cinema? Why do we have to sleep outside here all night, Tyler?
I mean, I didn't actually say any of that, but like I said, I did end up loving Limp Bizkit more than her, so maybe it was true. Anyways, it's a cute little family movie. If you like stuff like Little Giants or Little Big League or just anything like that, you'll like it. It's sweet, sappy, sometimes overly sentimental. It's tropey as hell. It hits every single sports movie cliche ever known to man. But I think Fred Durst actually handles the material he's given really well. It's got the perfect, like, heartwarming tone for this kind of sweet movie. And I think the cast is great. I like Ice Cube. I think he's good here. I've always liked Ice Cube though. He always plays Ice Cube, yes, but I'm fine with that because, like I said, I really like Ice Cube. I've liked him in everything I've seen him in, from fucking Boys in the Hood to All About the Benjamins, to even that movie that I forgot the name of where he's driving the kids on vacation. Are we there
Are
yet?
we there yet? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cute too. But Kiki Palmer is excellent. I mean, she's a talent, and she should have a way bigger career than she has. I think they both play off each other really well too. I mean, both have really good chemistry together. Just that niece and uncle chemistry. It's really good, and I like them both together in this. It's got a breezy pace. The football scenes are fun. It's a cute little movie. Craig kind of just mentioned it. Like what Craig said was kind of spot on. It's just an easy watch. It's nothing like great, but it's a cute little family movie. And I don't pick family friendly shit very often, but for what this is, I enjoy it. But I like stuff like Little Giants and The Big Green and all those 90s kids movies. They're fun, and this one kind of fits with those. Is that me doing the Milk movie? It must
Yes.
be, right?
Yeah.
I'm
The
gonna
Milk
cheat. I'm
movie.
just gonna read the plot off the internet because, I mean, Jesus, really. It's about a single mother who struggles with grief on the 1-year anniversary of her child's disappearance, and her neighborhood milkman begins to feel a strong connection to her grief. Somewhere far away, a group of missing children try to celebrate a birthday party, but is intercepted by a group of demons. I think that's what the plot says, but that's what they saw, so I'm gonna go with that. Now for my thoughts. I'm gonna be brief because I really didn't like this movie very much at all. So I'm just gonna start with the positives. It's not easy making a film, and I highly respect anybody that gets something made and put out there and then released by Vinegar Syndrome too. That's fucking awesome. So huge props there. Um, and the film itself does have an atmosphere. It's surreal and bizarre, and it sticks with that from frame fucking one. And I appreciate that as well. That said, as a movie, I thought it was pretty boring overall. I mean, you guys know I love my weird shit. I mean, from Trash Humpers to Inland Empire to Begotten to the Holy Mountain. This is the kind of shit I'm always down for, and I love it. I love the more experimental shit. The weirder, the fucking better. Be weird as fuck. I love that shit. But there's a lot of these micro budget, avant-garde, weird little indie movies out there. I mean, there's tons of them out there now. And this one just didn't do it for me. I didn't like the soundtrack. The sound is really bad. Maybe that's intentional, but the sound is really bad in this. It's only this is like 75 minutes long, like at least 75 minutes, but it really, really drags. I mean, there was some imagery that I did like and I would have loved in like a short film, but as a feature, I don't think it works for me personally. But if you like this, and if you like this particular movie, y'all should totally watch the movies from James Bell. He's a micro budget filmmaker, and he makes very similar avant-garde weird stuff, and some of his stuff is pretty good. I think you guys will, if you guys liked it. I'm not saying you guys like Craig specifically. I think you should check it out. But he makes very similar avant-garde weird shit, and I think you might appreciate it. But I always respect the attempts experimental cinema. It didn't work for me overall.
Okay, I will go next. Hold your
right.
turn, Dave. Hold your turn.
That's what I was going to ask.
And I'm going to say slightly cryptically that I know I think I side with Craig on a slightly different interpretation of things compared to what you've said in the chat before, Dave, so I'll let you carry on with that later. I watched this and I hated it, and that's what happened. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was like, did I give it enough of a chance? Because it's also we have fun insulting some movies and some people, but if we do get a chance to review something that the creator might hear about, I don't enjoy being rude about it. I was like, I could be diplomatic. I could, I'll give things another chance, and I'll also see if I can pick more out of the film than what I did in the first viewing. And I'm glad I did, because I actually got more out of this second viewing. Now, I've not sort of obviously written off to join the fan club or anything, but there is stuff here that I think is good. I don't think, in a way, it's good that little bits are just drip fed throughout the film in terms of what you have for a very loose plot. But I do think it's a little bit too sort of loose and light, and doesn't have a strong enough connective thread running through it about the mother grieving her missing child. Like, you get it, you get it pieced through there, but I don't think that's strong enough. So it really boils down to individual moments. There are some conversations that I didn't care for. There's a strange opening sequence that didn't work for me. But when those weird kind of demon guys appear, and they're basically all painted white, they've got little horns coming out of their head. They do things like barbecue meat and keep sprinkling the meat with cigar ash. Just being, quite unpleasant, but also worryingly mundane. When they're going about the little, like, caravan trailer life, it's really weird. But it's good. It brings in this sort of intriguing element, and you're wondering what's going on. And then when you get sort of a bunch of little girls having a chat, and that's when I couldn't piece together whether this was the past or this was like parallel, because they mention Jessica, is it? I think the missing daughter.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Jessica, and it's Jessica Jones. So I think I thought that was supposed to show us sort of as things had happened, but I'm not entirely sure, because then you get the demons again, and you get what happens later. But what I will say is when they come along again, and they're sort of alongside a children's party, you get some really effective imagery with the children initially just hiding. And it's in that way that certainly from the choice of shot, it looks like children who are hiding not very well when they're being passed by an adult or adults who have to pretend not to see them. So that adds this extra strangeness, because you're like, is that demon seeing the children? Are they in danger? Is he genuinely not seeing them, and they might outwit him? So that's good. But also, I mean, it's really, really effective with the audio stings that they have for them coming on screen. Like really good. That was the highlight of the film for me. It was that strange. I don't even know if it was just synth or keyboard music with them coming along. The music kind of starts up just before they appear on screen, and then that is the signifier that are coming on, and it continues, and it sort of fades out a bit and comes in again later at another scene with them in it. So I really liked that. It was great. And then the sort of end of the film, it didn't fully work for me, but taking a different reading from it compared to how Dave reads it, I think is another sort of interesting choice. Like I view the Milkman in this as as someone who's seen everything over the years, because they famously, I don't know if they still do it, but they had the sort of the missing on milk cartons and stuff like that, and they would be in communities where they would know about recent losses or tragedies. I see him as some mediator or facilitator, but it's not necessarily the easiest option that they can say to someone if that person is grieving and just wanting, you know, whatever the next stage in their journey might be. So I viewed it that way, and I appreciated it for that. And I am glad I rewatched it, so that I think I felt that I was just giving it a bit more of a fair go, because my first viewing as well, I was turned off quite early, and I think that really coloured my opinion of the whole thing. Even though, as Tyler said, it's only about 75 minutes, but that first viewing, it felt extra long. I was jokingly winding up Craig, being like, "Well, we got to be polite about it. What's going to happen?" And I'm glad I rewatched it. I don't want to rush to rewatch it again, but there's enough individual stuff here that I enjoyed. It's just a shame that for me it never really came together, or it never really had the like, even if it was consistently just fragmented and surreal throughout, that would be a different thing. But because there are some parts that seem to connect and other parts that they either just didn't connect or I didn't see those connections, it didn't quite satisfy me as a viewing experience.
Yeah, you got to watch it again.
I'm not gonna.
You got to watch it again, Kevin. You got time
If I
tomorrow.
watch it
It's only
again,
70 minutes.
I'll be live streaming it for your benefit while I'm drinking glasses of milk while I'm watching it, bathing in mud. That's me.
Well, I also watched it twice because I figured Craig argued for it so hard in the chat. I figured maybe I missed something. And all it did was reaffirm how I felt the first time. I'm going to double, and it's something I've said before. It's something we've all said. It's something T said earlier. I have nothing but respect for anyone that gets their film done and released. Especially this got the Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, awesome. The Milkman is played by Gary Wilson, who is an avant-garde musician, and his album "You Think You Really Know Me" is fantastic. I am a fan of his work. I am not a fan of this film. Now, I don't read it the same way you do. For me, the Milkman is obviously a serial killer with pictures of his victims on the wall. and the rest is in his head. The only things outside are the stuff with the mom or the milkman himself wandering around. Because, well, what do we have? All the allusions to milk and cows are also motherhood illusions, to the point that we even have a woman with milk bags in front of her breasts, stabbing it while talking very on the nose. The demons are so like they are straight out of old Looney Tunes. They're smoking, they're wearing the Looney Tunes style boxers. I mean, there's nothing to suggest they are anything but the construct of media intake, which means it is again someone's fantasy. Spoiler, as far as you can do, it is the anniversary of the girl's disappearance and her birthday, the first anniversary of her disappearance, and they say it's her first year there. And how do you get so shitty to a woman whose child is abducted and killed on their birthday within 12 months, as the only other two humans in this film are? Seriously, what kind of scumbag are you? But, that's neither here nor there. Because they're meaningless. They're just there to fill time. They don't add anything. They don't say anything. And that's my problem with most of it. It sounds like people talking about a serial killer and two women talking about a serial killer, and they're highly distorted. All the cow imagery is motherhood imagery. And then the mom is visited by the milkman, given milk, passed out, and has her head put in the oven. He's a serial killer who goes back and kills a mom a year later. That's what this movie is about. That is what we are shown. I don't get how you can see him as a good force. Then she ends up in his mental field where he keeps his victims. And by the way, her tit comes out because, again, women are cows. That's how I saw it. That's how I read it. I'm really surprised to see anybody reading him as anything else, except for the fact that you saw something that said he is something else. Because in the film they don't show it.
When you say was that definitely his place where the
yes, that's his place.
Photos were.
He tapes up a picture, and he knows where they are. He's the only one that knows where 5 missing girls are. Missing girls that he views sleeping in a magic barn.
I can't recall that right now.
That are adult men that must represent his. I'm sorry. I don't see how you can get any other reading out of it. I watched it twice. I wanted to give it a fair shake. I always want to give it a fair shake, especially art films. If I come away like, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's done well enough. The soundtrack is really good. I'll give it that. I've been listening to the soundtrack all week since I watched the movie. The soundtrack is awesome.
It's the best part of it.
The best part.
Aaron Dilloway soundtrack is amazing.
By far. And obviously, Dilloway had a hand in mixing it when his music is on. But the rest of the audio in this is atrocious. And I've said it before. Your independent film lives and dies on the audio. And this film dies. They forget to add the dialogue at times. They record it poorly. And now I know some of it is a willful choice because they're obviously putting all the filters on to make the women talking about our serial killer milkman sound more like animals than people, because that's just more to the point as I saw it, but whatever. But then like the girls, the kids, like you can barely hear them. They didn't bother miking the set. They didn't bother cleaning up the audio. They didn't bother doing ADR, and that's a choice because they obviously had people who could do that with them. And it was the wrong choice because it's really hard to follow. And that's another reason I watched it twice. But I did not like this movie. I don't think it said what it thought it was saying. And instead, we have a pretty limp tour through a pretty lame serial killer's head. If a little girl disappears in a white van and a milkman shows up to kill her mom a year later, the milkman's the killer. I'm sorry. That's just the only logical reading for me. But I am more than happy to hear someone else's take, Greg.
Oh, okay. Um, I had quite a lot of anxiety about this pick, for a couple of reasons. Like, first, I just hoped that it wouldn't put me off of milk, because I really, 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 I just really enjoy milk. And while I also know that, like, the dairy industry is one of the greatest evils man has perpetrated on this earth, I didn't want to have to give up milk. But luckily, it wasn't too disgusting with the milk, so that was good. That was good. But yeah, the reason, actually, you know what? It didn't put me off milk. It did get me thinking about milk quite a lot. I spent quite a lot of this week thinking about milk a lot more than I would. Like, I've been thinking about milk conceptually, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but yeah, I've been thinking about milk a lot this week. The other reason I was anxious was the thought of this film's director potentially listening to the episode, when, for all I knew, I hadn't seen it yet. I'd just bought it, so we could all hate it, all four of us, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that eventuality. But to my huge relief, I liked it a lot, and as well as liking it a lot, I could also see why you guys might hate it and possibly hate me a little bit. Like, I became very aware that it's not for a wide audience, and if 1 out of 4 of us enjoyed it, that was actually a pretty solid number. I think Asparros probably realizes this film is not going for that mass market appeal. For me, like, pretty early on, I started to look at it as more like a piece of music, or rather like several pieces of music, like rather than a film. I'm kind of looking at it as kind of cinematic avant-garde noise music. Like, sometimes it's really harsh, sometimes it's very sparse. There is absolutely no melody to, like, grab hold of and follow. It's all very, very feeling over form, and like I say, just 100% not for everyone. And I don't mean not for everyone in that really, like, and insufferable, oh, you wouldn't understand way. It's just about, you make a connection or you don't. It's more like a different joke when you laugh. You don't really have much of a choice in it. You either make a connection or you don't. And I did, because obviously you guys know that my first wife Danielle passed away a while back. And what you might not know, because I don't tend to go into the details, is that my stepkids, they when this happened, they kind of immediately did with their biological dads, which was, it was 100% the right move for them, exactly what they needed to do. But the place where I lived kind of turned from a happy family home to my fucking tomb overnight. I mean, just overnight, it became empty apart from me and my grief. And it nearly became my tomb as well. As, if that stroke had been bigger, it could have finished me off in that fucking house. So when I see images like I saw in this film of, like, a grief-stricken character in an empty house, like deaf to the outside world, like almost completely submerged in, like, this inky black void, that resonates with me really hard. It connected with me. I mean, a lot resonated with me. Like the little darkly comic line that spoke to me, like, so you think you can pencil me in for tomorrow, Doctor? And how's Cotton Candy Princess? Now that scene worked, because these lines work for me, because they reminded me of things I experienced during this period of grief. Like, I understand the feeling of not wanting to be a burden, and how it felt to talk to people who just were not equipped mentally to understand what I was going through. I had lots of that, and it was hard to try and heal when when I didn't want to be the burden to other people who were going through what I was with Daddy L's death. I chose not to speak to them, because I didn't want to be a burden. And the people I do speak to are people who don't understand. And it's, this, again, it's another thing that this film another part of the film that I connected with. It felt very Lynchian to me. Specifically, it felt like Twin Peaks: The Return, because you've got this kind of, you got grief and loss represented by like Americana, like decaying, menacing Americana that people trust. You know, things from their childhood kind of decaying or changed or just made to feel menacing. I don't know. I struggled to articulate my feelings on one, and it's definitely for me it was there were moments in it that were beautiful, and there were moments in it that were horrible, and there were moments in it that were silly, and there were moments that were profound for me. Like, at least to my own personal experiences, it felt like a film made for me. It felt like see over the last 5 or 6 years, because you know it spoke to something that I had gone through, and just the fact that it ended on that Hinge Jamie Stewart gospel cover, it just, like I say, it felt like a film made for me, and it just, yeah, it was special. I kind of needed it, and yeah, I Case Esparros. What's his name? Help me out with this name, because I haven't got notes. I just Case Esparros, maybe. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for hooking us up with this film for us all to enjoy. I've been looking up that Jamie Stewart gospel cover that closed the film. I cannot find it anywhere. So, no, I've already asked quite a lot of you, Esparros, but buddy, if you're still listening at this stage, please hook a brother up. If you can send me a copy of that song, I would love it. But yeah, I enjoyed this, and I'll keep my eye out for whatever you make next. And as far as the concerned, for me, the Milkman is just somebody who brings comfort to others. He's an angelic figure as far as brings comfort to others in the form of milk. He brings milk to mothers and hopes to bring them comfort. And if that doesn't bring us comfort, then yeah, as Kevin said, there is one more step to take, which is joining the loss. I don't know. It's an odd one. That's how I saw it. But I think the director will be quite interested to hear the different interpretations.
So can I ask, Craig, do you think perhaps one way of viewing this, from what you said and from what you're bringing to mind for me, is, do you think this sort of the mads jumping around and the mix of the occasional funny lines, and then the scary bits and the darker bits and the memories and the surrealism, do you think that could be seen as like just a feature representation of grief, of the messy stuck together bits of grief? Like, you're sad, you're lonely, sometimes you'll see something that reminds you of a joke, you know, sometimes you'll be stuck in memories. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's absolutely how it felt to me. I think there's probably more to me to like. I hope there's more to me to mine from it, because I spent quite a bit of money on that Blu-ray. But yeah, it's I mean, it's in the title, absence, the loss. It's, you know, the whole thing is about loss. And yeah, I felt a lot of it quite keenly.
Yeah,
Here's a
with
fun
you
fact.
wording that brought that to me. Oh, fuck you if I end up watching it again. Fuck's sake.
You're gonna watch it again. But here's a fun fact: Borden Milk used to own Elmer's Glue. Spitting off Elmer's Glue into its own company is one of the reasons why Borden temporarily went away. They're back again, but it's time to pick one. It's time to pick one from this week's offerings.
I mean, you've heard what I had to say, so you know, I like both but one of them meant a lot more to me. So I'm going to go with the absence of milk in the mouths of the lost.
Well, it was tough this week, but because I love Craig so much and would never shit on his emotional journey, I will also go for the absence of milk in the mouths of the lost, because to do anything else would seem cold and inhumane.
Yeah, Tyler.
What's your pick,
I mean,
Tyler?
David is quite cold and inhumane. So I'll push David any direction. Try my luck with Tyler.
Well,
No, in all honesty, like the long shots was fine, Tyler, but bizarrely, I did that second viewing, so the Craig's pick gave me more to sort of chew over, and whether I end up liking it more if I do watch it again or not, it's just there was more to pick at, and some bigger swings as we've discussed with other viewing options before.
well, I love Craig. He's an amazing, wonderful human
I
being.
don't expect anything
but
but the Fred Durst vote. Don't.
Like I said,
we're all good.
Yeah, I love Craig dearly. He's amazing and wonderful, but he doesn't wear a red fitted, so the long shots.
Understandable.
I also love Craig dearly, and he doesn't wear a red fitted.
Aw.
So
I
the
love you
absence
guys.
of milk in the mouths of the lost.
Oh my god! I was not expecting to win this episode. I've prepared a small speech. I haven't. I'm sorry, Tyler. I feel really bad for Tyler. Bad for Fred Durst, but I feel very happy for Case Esparros.
No, it's cool. I mean, it's fine.
I mean, I'm always
Yeah.
going to go for the art film over the mediocre corporate dreck, and we all knew that coming in.
Sure, you don't want to change your mind, Tyler, before the episode ends? You being the lone vote against Craig's.
You know how many times Tyler
Against
stands
the thought.
bravely in the field waving the T flag while everyone else runs?
Well, I thought I would
cover?
be catching T's victory from T's hand, stealing his sweep, but that's not what happened, is it?
So this month, we're going to end the month with the celebration of the wonderful character actor, lead man,
Heartthrob,
favorite son,
sexy
heartthrob,
bitch.
favorite son of Down Under, Guy Pearce. And my pick for that, I'm going to gift this all to you now. So, my pick is I'm actually having a hard time picking, so that's why we're going to do mine first. So you guys need to help me. And I'll list a co-star in one of the two films I'm debating between, and you choose between them: Kit Harington or Olivia Grant.
Olivia Grant, then.
Yeah, nobody's got to consciously pick Kit Harington.
Do you have
Who's Olivia Grant?
Olivia Grant
Not Kit
is
Harington.
not Kit Harington. She is I'm trying to think. She's in Stardust. She's one of the people in that. She's in Mr. Nice. She was in Strike Back for a season or two. She was in Copenhagen.
Okay, well, she wasn't in Pompeii, so Kit Harington.
Okay, well then it's 2-1. So that means it's going to be The Last Vermeer from 2019, directed by Dan Friedkin and produced by Brian Friedkin.
Okay. Should I throw mine in as well? Might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
I mean, I've already decided. You like David Mishovd, don't you?
Who
Dave,
doesn't?
director of The Rover.
Yeah.
I will be going with whenever it was made, crime drama, Animal Kingdom, which is a film that I love dearly.
Nice.
Yeah, that's that's why I watched The Rover. But next week it's a normal week with myself and Kevin picking. I'm going for a classic, one of the '80s comedy greats, a film Tyler's never seen, so we had to rectify that with the brilliant lead performance from late brilliant leading man Val Kilmer. We're gonna watch Real Genius.
Nice.
This is doubly fun because I realise that Tyler would have probably really liked the Kit Harington one that you were going to pick.
He would have, yeah. He really
It's
would
the
have.
alternative from 2016.
Yeah.
Because I was frantically Googling, yeah, that's a good one. But my pick for next week is 2021's Judas and the Black Messiah. I fancied a bit more Daniel Kaluuya in my life for a
Who
viewing.
doesn't?
With that, exactly.
Tyler doesn't because he just talks shit about the Keke Palmer Daniel Kaluuya film endlessly.
Oh yeah, Nope.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
Nope
mean-
does suck, but I do like I'm no spoilers, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Kevin's pick. So
Ooh. Well, in that case, T, you can give him to business.
we're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_ podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, sometimes Friday. You never know when. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment on Kevin's awesome videos weekly. We have a Discord. We have a Blue Sky. Only thing we don't have is OnlyFans or a Pornhub account yet. And you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. You know what? This week you go see either of them. If you're in the mood for an art film, maybe you'll have a different reading than we did.
Another one, yeah, sure.
Yeah. If you want a sports film, go watch. I don't know what was the prison one from the '70s, The Longest Yard. That one, not the remake, but go watch the original. The Brian song, maybe.
Which remake?
The Longest Yard was a remake.
Oh yeah, but
Adam
there was a
Sandler,
British one as well. I always called Mean Machine the
there?
British one.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's not a bad one. Go watch the British one also. Go watch the '70s original, the British one, and let's pretend the Adam Sandler one never happened. And I'll talk to you next week.
Hey, see you next week,
See you.
guys.